Today's video, we're talking about holding pattern, waiting on the weather, and why we don't paint and plant in April in Michigan. Please join us. Welcome to the Grow Room. It's April 22nd, 2020, sheltering in place. And today is Macy, who's my 4-year-old granddaughter today, and my 25-year-old daughter, Michelle's birthday. Mother and daughter birthday. Happy birthday to yous twos. And hey, what we're doing here today is I am checking the plants for moisture. And what I have here is a dry shish kebab stick, skewer stick, shish kebab stick. And what I'm doing is I'm poking it into the bag to check for moisture, and also creating another air hole because these plastic grow bags do not breathe well enough. So I've stuck it in here to see, do I have moisture in the bottom? Yes, I do. Because I've been watching the leaves. They're looking a little hot around the edges. This is one of the better looking ones, but I'll show you over here where they're looking a little too hot. And right along there, I always get a second opinion from somebody that's a great grower. I sent pictures to Chris Kent and said, what are your thoughts? And he was saying 750 watts is too hot, turn it down to 500. So that's what I've done. I've turned the wattage down because we're in a holding pattern. Ideally, I would love to be putting these plants in the ground right now. Some people already are. I know there's people in Michigan, champion growers, who already have these in their hoop houses, under lights, soil cables. All right. We're not getting the sunshine and the temperatures I like. My ground temperature is only 55 degrees, so I'm going into a holding pattern. Now, I did put these in 1-gallon grow bags this year. Typically, I use 2 gallons. So I might be a little tight, and I may have to make a decision if I'm not sticking them in the ground this Monday. I'll have to talk to Eli. If Eli wants to put them in the ground and do the care and make sure they stay warm at night, because the problem is 55 degrees soil temperature. We're not getting warm, sunny, bright days. I think they're calling for 57 and sunny on Friday. It's going to rain a lot. The ground's going to warm up slowly. So with that being said, we're kind of in a holding pattern. See, people tell you, oh, you can plant outside in your zone, blah, 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 blah. No, every year is different. Every year, you have to play it by temperature. It's a temperature thing, not a calendar thing. All right? So that's what we're doing. We're in holding pattern. I'm going to keep them healthy. Hey, here's a 1734 Clemency just popped up. It's a little bit younger. It's a backup plant for maybe the 150 contest. So this is probably right on schedule for today's weather. So if you started late, don't feel like you're behind. You may be just where you need to be. All right? So I'm going to turn off this fan because we're getting a little bit too much noise in the videos. That might quiet it down a little bit for you. All right? I noticed here one of the sugar baby watermelons is starting to break the soil. So good for that. So just tending the plants. I'm digging away a little dirt. Let this seed pull its head up out of the ground a little easier. There's the 10K tomatoes, pork chops, in quest of the $10,000 Who Can Grow the First 10-Pound Tomato Quest. So there you are. Another thing I'd like to add today, because this is Home and Garden Tips, is the same reason why we don't plant our gardens in April in Michigan in the northern climates is the same reason why we don't paint outside, because the nighttime temperatures are so cool. I've been painting houses for years. I know someone who just painted a house last week, and I told him, silly. You shouldn't be doing that because the nighttime temperatures are getting down to like 29 degrees at night. And really, to have stable temperatures to paint the exterior of a home, you need to have nighttime temps, in my opinion, in the 40s. You need to be in the 40s. Even with your low temp 35s, I'd like to see the 40s. Because, when the temperatures, when they call, when they say, hey, it's going to be 40 degrees at the airport, it's going to be 35 out in your suburban yard, garden, house. So painting exterior outside, don't rush into it. Let the season come. Also with planting your garden, if you're going to plant this stuff outside, let the ground warm up to 55, 60 degrees. You know, let your surface temperature of your house get up to 55, 60 degrees before you start painting or planting. So that's kind of a double tip, painting and planting, why we don't do it in April in Michigan. All right, so there you go, there you have it. Another little tip you might want to know when storing paint, there should always be more paint in the container than air. If there's more air in the container than paint, it's going to have a short shelf life. If you really want to keep the paint and you say, hey, I want to be able to do touch-ups in 2 years from now, pour it into a smaller container. There should be more paint in the container than air. It's an evaporation thing to getting longer storage. All right. And I also have a little bonus tip in here about grass seeds, how to store your grass seed coming up. Hey, the last place you want to store this is in your hot garage or your hot shed, tool shed. A lot of people just automatic knee-jerk reaction, stick this on a shelf in the shed. Well, sheds get to the extreme heat in the summer, extreme cold in the winter. It's better to store this in a nice stable environment. If you're really smart, you wanted to save it a long time and use it over years, you could actually put this in an airtight container and put it in a freezer. If you don't have that kind of freezer storage, I would recommend just a nice stable, cool, dry environment, basement. Seal it up nice so it's not breathing, and keep it in a cool, dry storage between 50 and 70 degrees would be awesome. You will get longer life out of your seeds. Just a bonus tip, keep it a secret, but go tell a friend. And keep it a secret, but go tell a friend. Bubba's growing the colossal giant pepper from Neuhoff, John Neuhoff from Canada strain. He grew a 550 gram green giant pepper, green bell pepper. The world record 620 grams last I knew. And we're growing it in Morgan's Composting Seed Starter, organic soil for germinating seeds and transplanting seedlings. Great product, loving the organic products. Please join us in 2020 and watch our grows. We'll be growing in Veggie Dew 301. We're growing Dawn's Hard Clay Garden Cure, the 150 contest, the pork chops and applesauce, tomato. And don't worry, if you haven't started your tomato seeds, you can always catch up. And I've even got my tomatoes started in here, my beefsteaks and cherries. Check them out. They're doing beautiful. They're loving it. So hey, join us. Join us in 2020, watching them grow.